Good evening, televiewers, and welcome to yet another exciting edition of our program Mountain Echoes, the last day of the month of March, and the new week also. Very soon we'll find ourselves in the month of April, where we know that things are, growing up. We have new beginnings again. We have some kind of new stuff. In the church, we'll be thinking about ordinations of some of our brothers and some of our sons, some of our neighbors and friends, and so we're thinking more also about the graceful season of Easter, rounding up with the season of Lent. So we have a lot that will come up as soon as the month of April begins. And today we shall be looking at this topic. Of course, something which is familiar to some of us, though many, they know about it, but then they do not really pay more attention into it. And someone has made it for us to know that it's a time bomb, junkies. We've taken maybe its abnormality, which has become a normal thing in our society. And of course, some young boys and few girls also, they do join this crew and to take it to be like a way of life. And parents do fold their arms and sit quiet. Some persons also in our society, especially maybe in our neighborhood, they know that it's just a way of life, and allow them. They want to feel free. They are responsible, and they are young boys and girls. They have their lives in their hands, but it is our responsibility. It is our duty, as we are told with the TV, and we are there to educate. We are there to entertain also, not just entertaining, but to educate people. And we think that it is our responsibility to pick up this and to educate our brothers and sisters out there, our friends, our relatives, all those landlords. Of course, they do have boys and girls who are interested, who are into this, and they stay quiet because, of course, they pay the house rent the appropriate time. So they have little or nothing to take care or maybe to think about that. It is their duty and their responsibility to ensure that their tenants are good to go, their tenants are healthy enough, their tenants are not drug addicts. And so, like I said today, our topic, junkies, a time bomb. It's just there. At one point in time, it's not like what happened in was it Japan, Mr. Bo, Japan, or is it have the Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Yeah, Nagasaki.
6th and 8th of August,
1945. Yeah, so we don't want that to come around, especially in the southwest region. We do not want that. And someone is saying that the junkies is a time bomb. If these things are not handled well, the things will not only fall apart like the famous book of Chinua Achebe, but things will crumble, and we'll find ourselves in a kind of a mess which we cannot really treat them. And we have our brothers and sister with us today on the panel to talk about this. And equally, we have some persons of Vox Pops out there. We got to some persons who know more about these guys out there. They call themselves junkies, so are friends to them, how it started, and of course experiences. All those things will be showcased so that we can help ourselves and help these boys and girls. Majority of them are boys, and the ages are about maybe 12 years, getting 12 years and to 25. You don't see more than that kind of age. And when they are 19 years, they see themselves as if they are 60 years old. The things that they do. And so we shall be looking at that properly. We have Mr. Mike on board. Mike, good evening and welcome, and happy last day of the month of March.
Good evening, Father. Thank you very much. I also want to say Assalamu alaikum, Ra Lamatulai, Ra Barakatu to all my Eid Mubarak, to all our Muslim followers out there. It's a feast of Eid Fatir, and so we are wishing them a very happy celebration, and it's another renewed pleasure to be on this stage this evening to discuss this very crucial issue and worry in the society.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we have Madam or Miss Gift. You're going to tell the viewers of Mountain Echoes precisely. We have viewers in the United States, we have viewers in UK, we have viewers in Europe, we have them of course in Bafia. We have them in Bafia, we have them in Tole, we have them at Yumujok and Ekok at the border in the western region of Cameroon. They are there. We have them in Bamenda, in Yaoundé, in Banjul also. We have them in Bachengo and Balengo. We have them almost everywhere. So you just tell them a little about yourself.
Good evening, Father. Anyways, thank you very much. I am Enyon Gift, a lecturer at the University of HIPS, that's Higher Institute of Professional Science, a holder of MSc in Hematology and Blood Banking, and also my passion, special effect makeup artist. So I'm into movie and entertainment industry. Yeah,
thank you very much for maybe accepting our invitation. It all started in the Barbing Salon, Paulo's Barbing Salon. It's not as if maybe you are doing publicity of that salon, but I may mention that as soon as it's done with the maybe the little kind of makeup or little we call
renovation.
Yes, in his place there. We need to do blessing, and of course, maybe we could do some kind of stuff. Maybe come on TV to make people to know that he's there and things have changed, and he's always there to serve the public. You know, he's always there to serve the public. Thank you for being with us today. We have, of course, Mr. Bo Ivo. This time around, not the teacher. This time around, someone who lives somewhere which is not very far from the Tay. Thank you for accepting the invitation.
Thank you, Father. I wish to send special greetings celebrating feast today to Alhaji Lawan Bako, a senior friend and father, and a special president in the special person I admire so greatly in Africa, Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, for the good work he has been doing to make his own country admired, you know, and make a heaven of his country. We see that there are possibilities. And special greetings to Indian people, Chivakana of Bonabianga, those in Isoki, Isokotang, Mabelebele, Musungisele, right to Edabato. Isangele. Yeah, we have a Sangele, yeah, and all those people in the Ikasa, those in Myangwe, 1 and 2, Toko. Yeah, special greetings to all those in that area, and all the viewers of Divine Mercy Television. We are grateful that you are always there. We are here because you are there, and the fact that we have positive impact each time we meet, maybe back on the street, is showing that we are doing a marvelous job. Thank you for always being there.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Bo. We want to say happy feast to Mr. Hamza Mutanga Hilary. He's one of the crew of Mountain Echoes. He has been busy lately. We equally say happy feast to the Imam of the Central Mosque of Boya, Imam Abubakar. I'm sure maybe we'll have a stop at his place down there at Clark's quarters, maybe tomorrow, or maybe if not today, tomorrow.
So I thought that we go there to touch around. You are telling me tomorrow.
And of course, Musa is always here with us. Musa down there at at UB Street. Musa is there. We wish to tell them happy feast. They always come here to celebrate with us. They always come here to maybe to tell the others, the public, to share their knowledge with the public. So we say happy feast to all of you. Like Mr. Bo is saying, we will try our best to make sure that we pass around to see what is happening there. Like I said, we're looking at the topic junkies, a time bomb. You know, gift. Just looking at the topic, what do you think about it? You know, junkies. Looking at some persons, you know, and they greet themselves. They make yo,
bro,
that kind of stuff. And it's like a way of life. The young people like it.
Yeah. When we talk about junkies, I don't think there's anybody who don't know about junkies. Yeah. So it has a way. It's when you hear junkies, there's a kind of notion. Yeah. This group of people that their ways of life is different from the ordinary.
Yeah.
They say that because these people, they say they don't see the world with their normal eyes. You need to get to a certain level before you see the world. So anyway, the name sound interesting, and I believe that the topic is an interesting topic and a very important one for us to address in the society, because the rate at which things are going with our generation, the Android generation, our parents have reduced the rate of discipline like before. So if we don't talk about this topic and try to see, put in measures in which we can reduce this group of people, it's going to be a very, very disastrous generation in the next 5 years to come.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gift. And I think like COVID-19, was one of these things that they said, we get the slogans that we try our best to curb COVID in among ourselves, and WHO, including even the government of Cameroon, as far as health is concerned, there were measures that we put, you know, in order, like washing of hands, you know, you want to sneeze, you put your elbow, all those things, we need to put them all, because this is more than COVID-19. COVID-19. So we need to put measures in order to see how we can curb this whole stuff of junkies, because like I said at the beginning, it's a time bomb. It's a time bomb that if things are not worked on,
it's going to explode.
It's going to explode, and it will not be easy. It will not be an easy one. So Mike, what do you think about it? You're looking at the topic.
I think by junkies, we should first of all clarify that we mean drug addicts, those who are addicted to narcotics and very delicate and dangerous substances. So it's a time bomb to society. The societal fabric is gradually exploding it might look like it's something that is going to happen one time and everything will be bad, but it's gradually exploding. When I think about this, I remember a very disheartening experience that we had recently on the internet space, where we had a very young boy who copiously insulted an old lady who was selling simply because she asked him to put up his trousers from his buttocks to his waist. So you see, those are some of the dangers that our society is going through: a lack of discipline, drop in morals, a drop in right judgment, and of course the high consumption rate of narcotics and dangerous substances. It's a time bomb, because to destroy a people, you first of all start by destroying its future. If we continue consuming, if the rate at which drug consumption is increasing in this country goes on the way it is now, then we are very sure that we have a very disastrous future. We are going to have, because with the constant consumption, we cannot reason anymore. We have a youthful generation that does not reason, does not think right. So it's worth the while calling to mind society, the authorities, the religious and civil authorities, and all of us, to the dangers that the presence of these tares and junkies is in our society today.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mike and Mr. Bo. We just, junkies or time bomb. Is the word in the dictionary?
I don't think so. That it is not. It is not.
So we need to put it in the dictionary.
It's just a rub like vuvuzela, which we need to inject sometimes. There, but a common parlance which try to indicate people, as you rightly said, or people are indulged in drug addiction. When I got that, I tried to reflect that statement that let our foundation come forth, because tomorrow we're going to building our nation through the young people, and from the age range, which is ranging, that is 10 or 11, 12 to 25, that is very sensitive. It is that youthful age who are going to be the leaders of tomorrow. If our leaders of tomorrow are the junkies of today, then it's a very disastrous society we are sowing. And I think that it is one of the things which, as we touched, the government has to, we have to look for all possible means to see that is addressed. Sometimes back in the cartier, you get that. I got 1, 2 times junkies. The first time I heard it, second, third time, I couldn't make it out. Then before later on, the point that that's one of junkies passing. Now it rang a bell to me that what are the future of these people? Every day, they are there in Street 7. Today we're passing every day. There are different areas, but then in Street 7, getting towards the church, getting towards the end of Street 7, it is a constant between the primary school, government primary school, right to the end of Street 7. They are there constantly. I mean, every day, about 25 of them, every day. Now I get myself reflecting that every day these young people get up in the morning, they come sit there, share what they have to, or they're sharing, and then back in the evening, the following day, just like, what then becomes of their future? Now, what is the impact of what is there on them? And what is the impact to the immediate community in which they are? There are little children around, passing around, who are 3, 4, 5 years, and they see. So the catastrophe, like the Hiroshima-Nagasaki incident of 6th and 8th August of 1945, we remember what Harry S. Truman under U.S. government did to Japan. The impact does not only rest at that particular moment, it goes to posterity. And that posterity is the other young people who are seeing. And then sometimes they try to copy, and sometimes, because most of the time, the young people, when they see, they copy. The younger ones, the teenagers, they copy. They want to try to see what is happening. And in this early stage, they are exposed and they are very vulnerable. Very vulnerable. So it picks my mind, and I keep on every day reflecting and praying that something should be done.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Bo. And we have this that we need to sport which is so serious as far as this whole. So when can we maybe share a little about the junkies? Can we just describe what this group of persons, what are the things that are so familiar with them, so much so that when you see one, for example, when you see a priest, of course, you see someone, either you're called a pastor, like today, many persons in the hospital, pastor, then after someone will say father, and the rest with your Roman collar shirt. Back there, how are they identified in your neighborhood when maybe you find them?
Just to start by answering the question you earlier asked, on I don't know whether it's already on paper dictionary, but on the web space there is the word junkies described as drug addicts. And also I don't think junkies it's actually a constituted group. Unfortunately, today they are taking over the web space, and it's becoming a constituted group with one of the popular ones. I will not want to mention his name here, who has made it feels like it's a kind of pride to identify as a drug addict. So you will see most of these people in the streets or in the quarters most of the times very early in the mornings. If you wake up, if you walk on the streets between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m., you see them very early. They are coming from those places we vulgarly call them in the quarters there. They are coming with very dark eyes. Their eyes are very dark and red and almost covering, and they are walking with staggering steps. They don't have their steps in place. They are walking with staggering steps and trying to catch their steps, and you really see someone walking in the air like he's living in a utopic space. You know that this person is no longer on earth. It's obvious that he's no longer on earth. And Mr. Bo was talking a while ago of the tears, but that's just one of the dangerous places. We equally have them in homes. Unfortunately, today in a place like Moliko, there are cities where they are constituted themselves in rooms. There are rooms where these guys gather and take their caillou, because those ones are the tears. They go there to smoke, maybe marijuana, maybe cannabis and things like that. But there are rooms where they are known to sell cocaine and the different drugs that we have, the different substances that we have. We have tramadol, caillou, and all those other many names. That is even the greater risk. And we might be looking at the very high substances, but this thing came from the positive, so to say, image that the media has given to drugs. With shisha, with vapes, with cigarettes. The flavor that cigarettes even have now, it's not like the flavored cigarettes, those big sticks of cigarettes used to have. The tinier sticks of cigarettes, they have a different attractive flavor, so it makes it that we have built a community or a society where drug consumption is more popular and more vulgar. It's easier for people to consume drugs, and it's easier to identify these ones who have been inebriated in it. But what about those ones in our secondary schools? Those ones who go to school with vapes in their bags. Those ones who go to school with carts of tramadol in their bags and sachets of caillou and all of that. How do we identify those ones in schools and the danger they pose to the society and the school environment, Father?
So we have this also. We're asking, can you explain to the viewers who this group of persons we've just been talking about that, and where do they live? Like you said, even at homes. So is it that some of our parents are they're under the roofs and we do not, maybe take them to government officials, or maybe to where things can be arranged, and maybe how to treat them? Like you talked about somewhere in the house, Mike. So how, or they have a particular place where they do live? Or they live with us, or how do we trace this kind of persons?
They live with us. Well, I don't think we have any need to trace these people, Father, because I think the danger is not even in tracing them and knowing where they are. But they live with us. We have them in our society. We have them in our school milieu. Unfortunately, right inside the secondary school milieu, we have them. We have those who sell. We have major suppliers in our school milieus. We have them in our compounds. We have them in the cities. We have them there everywhere. We know these places. That's the unfortunate part of it. We know where these guys are. We know these places, but without a certain level of security, you cannot denounce them. I tell you, if you dare denounce them, not one person comes out against you. It is a whole crowd. I witnessed a fight one time on UB Street where it was this kind of situation. One person denounced a drug supplier, and it was a crowd that came to beat that guy up. It was not, and they came with bottles, with sticks, and all of that to beat the guy up. So it's not like we don't recognize them. We know where they are. But immediately you try to mind their business. Immediately you try to help them out of the situation. You are putting yourself in harm's way.
So are there girls also in this whole thing with Miss Gift? Do we have girls who are junkies?
Yes, Father, we have. We have a couple of them.
Or they have their friends are the junkies, and then they share the booty with them.
We have girls who are junkies.
So how do they behave? It's like Mike was explaining to the public and to the viewers that maybe they think that maybe they are, they need to get to a certain level. Maybe for boys it's a bit easier. How do the girls? How do they? Maybe if you see them to identify that this is a junkies. A female junkie.
Yeah, most of them behave like guys. You see those girls who call themselves tomboys. Yeah, they want to be identified as guys. They keep dada, and where they are looking so masculine. Yeah, there are a couple of them. Before, we used to think junkies is just for the guys, but now girls are into it. In my environment, I used to see many of them. They'll come in their trousers, and they mostly interact with those guys. So you always see them in the midst of those guys. Yeah, like what he was saying, those people are not far away from us. Before you could see a junkies or a drug addict, you will only be hearing from a distance. But now we have them in our city. A student will just come to the university. They join their money, rent a very big apartment just for that. They have their shisha inside there, they have their vape, their cigarette, they have someone that is supplying there, so they just come there. They have already everything set up for them. They don't longer stress now to go to the tear and go and consume those things. They do it there, and right inside our homes. Our parents know them. Some parents know that, no, my son is doing this, my daughter is doing this. But now those children are always very arrogant, abusive, and violent. There's no way you can stop them. And these parents, since they don't want to take their children up there because of fear of maybe they'll lock them up, they'll not have money to pay them, you will just be managing with the situation, and that's it.
And they cannot manage it. And Mr. Bo, we're coming to, we're talking about, so what are the most common drugs abuse in our society today, or what are the most common drugs abuse in our society today? We'll ask Brother Ambrose and JC over there to prepare. They have some vox pops there. Maybe we could take about 2 or 3, which may just prepare them so that some persons could see also talking about the junkies. Some other persons, they just hear about them. They do not really know who these persons are. Maybe they have some of them in your neighborhood or maybe in your quartiers, and you know that these are the kind of persons, and they may just be greeting them, and you see them, and we'll get that to get to that point. So Brother Ambrose, you prepare that for us, maybe 2 or 3 of them with the vox pops that we had, but we'll begin especially with those showcasing who these kind of persons are, how they find themselves. Some will say that maybe they are high up there, but then they are still sitting with you on the same bench, but they see themselves as if they are on top of Boya Mountain. So Mr. We talk, these persons are drug, steep in drug kind of stuff, maybe drug addiction and the rest. So which kind of drugs, maybe like added to what Mike said, that they consume this kind of gifts, made mention of some other ones?
Yeah, Father, thank you for that question. Something came up my mind when we were asking that. There's one common which we actually sell in the society today. Yeah. And it is very, very open. I reflected on the cigarettes. The cigarette, they have written behind the cigarette nuit gravement la santé. That cigarette is dangerous for your health. Yeah. Now, we see the Minister of Public Health insist that it should be written on that, on the packet, because they know that it affects the lungs and the health of the individual. And it permits that they should sell it. They know that it is dangerous for the health, and the Minister of Health permits that should be written and should be sold. That you should kill Cameroonians or you should kill the individual. Now, it is very now, if I want to say that, that's one. If I want to say the common drug, I think that's one. Now, we talk about the definition of drug, which is something taken that can affect somebody psychological or physiologically, about concerning the individual. Now, drug abuse, there are 2 forms. It can go to overdose and underdose. Underdose of drug is an abuse. Overdose also of normal drug prescribed is an abuse. Now, before we go to narcotic drugs, like we call cocaine, but now we talk about issues that are very common in our society now. Marijuana, what we call banga, commonly known as banga. And there is what we call this Thai, they call it Thailand. and there is this other one they call them Caillou. Those are these three common where they rotate there so greatly and which are common in our society today, Father.
Okay. Yeah. So apart from that, we equally have so how does the drug addiction impact individuals, the individuals themselves, the families, and the communities in which they live? Like you said, some do live in their houses, some do rent maybe the apartment, 2-3 persons, and the landlords and landladies are aware of those things, and they sit quiet. So how does the drug addiction impact the individuals, the families, and your communities?
I want to start first by how a person gets even to the point of being an addict of drugs. You know.
So 1 minute, Mike. Is it that maybe those who take marijuana and they just go to the house, is there a distinction between the junkies? Is there a higher level of those who take these things when we is there a distinction between this group of persons? Because maybe you have footballers and then you have maybe these professional footballers. So how do we put it?
Junkies are professional drug
addicts. It should be noted that there are these drugs, especially the ones Mr. Bo mentioned here, they are forbidden. They are illegal. The consumption of cannabis, the consumption of cocaine, the consumption of Caillou, Thai, and all what you have, they are illegal. So once you are consuming them, you are already doing an illegal act. So there is no grade in it, and it is repressive by the law. There are clause put in place to repress such actions. So there is no greater. There might be a greater consumer than obviously there are greater consumers and there are lesser consumers, but it is not the right thing. It is an illegal act and it is an immoral act as well. So I was talking about how we get to even to the point of addiction. You know, there are different case scenarios. There are people who there is a thing about sibling, about growing up, the psychology of growing up. In a sibling situation, there are children who grow up in a house where they feel like their choice spot has been taken. Maybe they wanted to be the pampered one of the house, wanted to be the favorite one of the house, wanted to be the most appreciated one of the house. And when they feel like this spot has been taken by another sibling, they portray a contrary attitude. They portray a contrary attitude from that sibling. That leads to rebellion. That leads to pulling away from the family morals and rules, and eventually they get themselves involved in things that they would not have wanted to. There is also the issue of peer pressure. You want to please those with whom, you know, we are working amongst ourselves. If we sit, for example, in a small cool place to chill, and a pack of shisha is brought here, everybody is pulling and puffing out. You would want to do it to impress your friends, you know. There's the aspect of peer pressure. There is also the aspect of societal pressure. From some surveys that I've read from, a lot of people who get into drugs get into that to escape reality, because that's what drugs actually offers. It offers you an escape from reality. It offers you a utopic reality, such that you find yourself in a place that does not really exist. So some people want to escape from the economic hardship that they find themselves in, from the difficult situations they find themselves in, and that's how they get themselves gradually into drug addiction. It starts gradually and it graduates to a very high level. So back to your question, Father, what was your question again?
You're asking also, maybe looking at this level of if there's kind of a distinction between this group of persons.
Like we earlier said, there is no distinction. There is the same level. It is the same thing. You know, you might just be. It is gradual. It comes gradually. You start from a small position and then you go on and on and on and on. And like we were saying a while ago, we have them everywhere. My concern now is not even the adults that have it. We were talking of 19 to 25, but some of the studies on drug consumption in Cameroon takes it from 11 to 40. There are people at 40 that have soaked themselves in drugs that they cannot even get out of it. There are studies that takes it from 11 to 60. They studied that range, and it's true that the greater majority was in between the 19 to the 30s and so on, but even up to 60, we have very serious drug addicts. So it's a really a time bomb that is waiting to destroy our nation. And
yeah, Mike, maybe give to throw more light on these two, asking the other side of it. How does the drug addiction impact individuals, families, and communities? We talked about maybe individuals and families and the community in which they live.
Okay.
Of course, maybe I don't think there's a positive kind of impact as far as this is concerned. They were having money, maybe because they do have money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we consider that maybe there's positive and negative impact on the community, the families, and the individuals themselves.
Okay, before I answer, I just want to throw more light on what he said.
Yeah.
And also for the societal pressure, right?
Yeah.
We have seen that these junkies are not just children from poor backgrounds. Means they're not just people who don't have means to solve those societal pressure.
Yeah.
We see children from a very wealthy background, people who have good jobs that can earn them something, but they are still addicted to these things, or they are still among these junkies people. And also have societal influence, social media influence, because now on social media a lot of things are happening there. It's a community on its own. There is no longer restriction on what to watch and what not to watch. Children from 9 years, 10 years, and 11 years are all having Android phones. So when they see these things on social media, maybe from our influencers, our top celebrities, they will want to practice it. And also the point of self-belong. Like he said, you cannot just go to a club and maybe a group of 5 boys, 4 are taking shisha, and then you are just there claiming not to take shisha. The pressure for you to belong among that group, because next time when they are going out, they will not call you. They'll tell you that you are a weak person. So because you want to belong, you will now be pushed to start taking those things, and before you know, you'll become an addict. And with all this, there's a lot of irresponsibility, a lot of sexual abuse. You hear a young guy raping a young girl, family violence, gender-based violence, childhood violence, and all those things is as a result of drug consumption. It's a boy beating the mother, a whole lot of all of these irresponsible actions from these people. So it's really affecting the family, the individual itself, and the society. Some of them even come up with sicknesses. I think on Sunday after church, I went somewhere to get food, and this guy was eating. Suddenly he started convulsing on his food. So since I'm a medical person, I was panicking, like trying, let's help him. They say, no, let me allow him. That's what they always do, because when they consume those things, like they don't even eat, they don't have proper meals. All what they do is to save money and go and buy that. So it has a.
So where do they get the money? Sorry,
like I
saving
said,
money. How do they get money? Like okay, say from wealthy homes. Anyway,
even those who are not from wealthy, you don't know how these people. I don't know how they get their money. It's like those who smoke cigarette. A father will tell you that I don't have money to give you to cook in the house, but they will always have money to buy a cigar and smoke. So we don't, if it's the part of the money, we don't know where it's coming from, but they always have the money to get it. So it's playing a lot in our society. It's damaging the young ones, the middle age, and the old ones. Like he said, even fathers. Like in my environment, people come there that you look at somebody well dressed, responsibly dressed, come and buy that thing and consume, and you'll be asking yourself, what is this man going through that the person is getting addicted to this thing and all that.
Thank you very much, Gift. I'm sure JC, maybe we could get 1 or 2 of the videos showcasing, I'm sure there's one there who these junkies are, before we get to this maybe a viewer from Boma City and the other persons who have been struggling to call. Like I said, everything being equal, by the month of April ending, or maybe Easter or so, we are struggling to make sure that we could have open lines for persons to give their calls. We have several of them here, and you could send messages through the number on the screen. For now, your contributions and maybe questions will be addressed, but calls are not available at this point during our program. So we're working on that strongly to have that as soon as possible. Thank you very much. Jesse, maybe who a junkie looks like, or maybe we could have one of the videos there before getting to the Vox Pops. God have mercy. Hey! Hey! Hey!
I don't know.
Aujourd'hui aussi, c'est un autre jour. Daïla.
Le boy. Le boy.
God have mercy upon us.
Boy, is it fine? I'll let her roll on this. I van roll on the need some boy. Man go roll on top it save no boy. Sure boy, me the background me as my step and we now. Okay. But boy, you know say in my one thing only the number of things you don't want to talk. Man don't chop like 3 book no boy.
What?
Sure boy.
It is in a play.
Understand? I said, boy, since that time I really say, man, tap that plug. You only tell me say plug in now. Since I tap that plug, no boy, that plug is still now. You understand, no? The only time I undo can reach plug, start remember I say give a sleep, no boy. That's why I don't know, boy. It don't make sense, no boy. It don't make sense. Hey, boy, no chicken and solo boy. I say plug there, and that plug no the trying, boy. No worry, asking, you understand? No shake.
Okay.
But I said, no boy. And it was trying for you, boy. And 4 days this now, so boy. Ntiba ne touch your skin, boy. Nah, you need laugh.
I know you're speaking.
But I know the others on concoctions on things, so boy. Me I carry my dude. You say tell me now, but I have my lap, boy. Sam, washing is necessary, bro. You understand? But I came man if it goes on, so man 4 and 4 go inside toilet, no boy.
This man.
No. Even book for Uluwa the chat and say, boy. Washing is next to godliness. Cleanliness is next to godliness. You know the awesome rule, boy. Every day we must tell me about that, boy. But don't say me I can play a wash, but we boy all day long, boy. Me understand, boy. You just smell all the bang down. Jesus. That penny say you can see you now one guy or run. They play. Boy, man, wash right now. The one for me. This the penny say one pull up, boy. Pull up, we wash them canals.
Yeah, JC, thank you for that. We have greetings from Bomakaboya to you, host and viewers of DMRO TV and the guests. Thank you. Talking about junkies, it is unfortunate that some law enforcement officials visit us to buy and consume illegal substances instead of finding a way to preserve our youths by sanctioning them. Maybe these junkies are one of the reasons one can't have peace in our community. These kids me fire. It's from talk of Bomaka. So thank you very much, Kate. We are following that, and you could just, this is his own point, and our viewers, you could see how these persons look like. We have them in our neighborhood, and Kate has brought up something very necessary. I'm sure we're going to look about the measures put in place who could handle this, but then we shall look at this gift. What are some of the early warnings signs that someone may be struggling with addiction? You know, those things that when you see, you know that this person, you know, is in that part, that kind of mess up. Yeah.
One of the signs is we have withdrawal from the usual habits.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them withdraw from their close friends. You see someone who loves football. They have their little things they used to do in their day-to-day life, but when you become a junkies, they now withdraw from those activities because they want to always be among their colleagues, among their friends, or in environments that they can easily lay their hands on those drugs. We also have absenteeism. This we will relate to students. Yeah. Those in maybe secondary school or university. You see them start absenting schools and classes, maybe at a job site, giving unnecessary excuses, signs of irresponsibility, and also financial irresponsibility. Before you know, someone who is earning 30,000, who used to do maybe things in the family with the money. But now when you get addicted, or when they join this group of people called junkies, or you become a junkies, those financial responsibility will drop, because the more each amount of money that enter your hand, what you're thinking about is not even to save your family or to do anything for your future. What you're thinking is to get your drugs or those things that will make you high and stuff. I think those are some of the early signs of someone becoming a drug addict or part of the junkies.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gift. Mr. Bo, maybe could you add something on that? Maybe early warning signs that you see, that maybe this drug addict, be it in school, maybe the students themselves. You've been working in school for more than 2 decades, if I'm not making a mistake, and maybe you've been seeing some of these things. And they were not early in back there in the 70s and 80s. Maybe we could have this, but lately is something else. You find students in Form 1, they are involved in some of this kind of we call it things which are not really welcoming. Normality, which the society is finding it normal.
Yeah, in school, what I notice is that a good number of them become very stubborn, heady, recalcitrant, and they don't like to sit in class. Either they are outside, when they are in class, when the lectures are going on, they are not attentive. You go to check on their books, they don't copy notes. When it's time for tests, they move out. They don't want to write tests, because to them, school is just a formality. Yeah, writing an exam or not, sometimes it doesn't mean anything to them. Yeah, so sometimes you find them out, they're involved in one crime or the other, and when you're talking to them, sometimes they listen. You look at them so as pious as Job in the Bible, so pious, and they quiet and listen. Immediately after you leave, the next second is the same thing that they are doing, and it's over and over. So those are issues that we find, which is really very, very disturbing so far as school milieu. Sometimes some of them come in fenced schools, they don't even get to school. They don't get to school. There are instances where they come as if they live as if they are going to school, dress very well, then they move to the tears, the so-called, their area with their uniform there. They don't come to school. They leave the house that they come to school. After that, they join their friends to go back home every day and go, involved with some friends also who do not have anything relating to education, like mechanics and others in the quartier, where they have nothing to do with education. And we also have situations further, they are dressing. They are dressing. If you look at them, as he was citing there, they look really, they dress shabbily. Most of the times you look at shoes, slippers, cut here and there, then
they have money and people accept them in the society.
Legs are very
and
dark.
they accommodate them. Landlords and landladies, they prefer those kind of persons. Why?
Well, our society now create a good number of people, they depend on money and they don't care about any other thing. So the landlord there, so far you can pay a rent, a good number, even though there are some landlords who are very disciplined. They select the category of people who are in their environment. There are some landlords actually have witnessed that, but some don't bother. So far as you pay a rent, no problem. They don't.
You are not one of the landlords, or maybe like the prominent landlords that we have. Someone just made mention of the fact that they do have an association now, especially that those of them in Moliko, and they sit and maybe they could say today maybe we increase our house rent and the rest. I wish to ask, maybe you may have a friend with one of the landlords. What are some of those things when they go sit and they discuss during those meetings that they have the association of landlords? Because there is that possibility that some do not even know the number of the tenants that they have. They see the money, this time around with the digital system, people go pay maybe the money in the bank and so other kind of stuff. They're not interested in those persons to stay there, like you said. They're interested in their money. So whatever happens in the apartments that are given out to those young boys and girls, that's not their concern. All is that at the end of the year, or after 6 months, they have their money.
Yes, Father, most of the time their concentration is who, are we taking 1 year rent? Are we taking 3 months or 6 months? To guarantee after that what is going to happen next, and then they share their small junkies and play that go back.
So what about the health of those persons who live there?
That is not their concern. But some other people, they bring up issues on aspect of security. They used to bring, because there are a good number of persons who want to find out who is staying here. what are you doing?
Which
From
kind of
what background?
activity you
Yes,
do, yeah?
yes. There are some landlords, they verify, and some hit very hardly on that. And if they doubt your source of income or what you are doing, they refuse.
Okay.
Those mostly individuals on that. But as a community, they don't hit so greatly on that.
Yeah, maybe if you have something to add.
For those landlords who don't care, most of our cities recently are being controlled by caretakers. Most of the landlords are not around, so caretakers don't really care. They just want to have their own little benefits from it. So if you see these cities that have this group of people, majority of the cities, the landlords are not aware of the people there. They have the caretakers, people who the landlord have given them maybe an apartment or room to stay there and take care of it. So because you don't want to lose your job or you are benefiting from something, you don't care. You just stay quiet.
Yeah, I also think landlords don't outrightly prefer drug addicts over others. It's just that, like they have been saying, some are not even aware that they are there, and some of these people, unfortunately, somebody said it a while ago, they are protected by people in high places. There are networks of sales of drugs that is controlled by people in high places. The sales of drugs, he was talking a while ago of people who are warning us that it is dangerous to smoke cigarettes and yet are promoting or making it easy for, because you can get cigarettes from anywhere. Cigarette is one of the most accessible things. So what are the authorities doing about it? I think somewhere, somehow, we need, this is something that the authorities have to redress. But I mean, among the 1 million and one litany of problems we have, would they pay attention to that? But it is rather very unfortunate that most of these places, most of these networks, if you apprehend one major supplier of drugs today, I tell you, before 2 days he will be out. I mean, one major supplier, somebody who supplies in kilograms, before 2 days he will be out. Before, when you realize that they have apprehended one and they are bringing before the television, it's probably one who does not have network. But these guys are highly connected.
They are highly connected.
They are highly connected, so you cannot pick them. Even when you hear that one has the officials, uniform officials have come to pick one, it is most of the times in a case where a competitor has reported them. It's in the case of a clash or a fight, or it's in the case where a disgruntled consumer has reported them. So it's terrible. And we're talking about the impact of drugs on individuals and society. We're asking about their financial strength. If, like I was saying, if you walk on the streets 5-6 a.m. in the morning, you will see them always begging for money. They are always there, grandsons, they were boys. They have a way of dragging.
So that's their source of income.
And they pick people things and sell.
They are thieves.
Yes.
They steal. They are pickpockets. They are thieves. I want to take this opportunity to applaud what I think it's in Douala 4 that the mayor or the commandant, the commander of the gendarmerie there, he created a raid. He caused a raid that picked those guys. He not showed it, and if you saw it, they were dragging people out of holes. They made a raid in the streets and they picked out a lot of people. The same thing happened in Mimboman, in Yaoundé. I think sometime last month, where they sealed all those places. So the gendarme officials went and sealed the prostitution places, the tests and all of that. Those are some of the things that our authorities can take into action, because this drug is taking away our financial capacity. Whether you like it or not, drugs is it's very expensive.
Very,
to start
very
with. Tramadol, a drop of tramadol costs 1,000 francs CFA. A little quantity of caillou like that costs between 7,000 and 8,000 francs CFA. Yet these people are able to take it, and they want to take it in very huge quantity.
Some take it 2-3 times a day.
Yes, 2-3 times a day to stay constantly in that state, and they are constantly in a state of delusion, escapism, and it is increasing crime rate. There are certain areas in this boya where you cannot go at certain hours of the day.
Yeah, like the one of the viewers who said in Bomaka, they are not secure because of these guys. You are not too sure. Yeah. So you go out, you make sure that by 6:30 you're back in your home. Anyway, we'll be coming to that. We'll be looking at the kind of measures that what are the causes of these guys going into this whole thing of become junkies, and consequence, and of course how we can maybe way forward, or maybe how we can curb this, because to put an end to it this time around, we hope that they will come, but then we'll see how we can curb it, the measures that we think we could put in place, and who is expected to do what, and maybe what has been done already, and we'll look at all that before the end of this program. So Jesse, we got to some persons, some young people also who have experienced who these junkies are. They got to tell us who they are, some of the causes or reasons why they find themselves in this kind of maybe this weird kind of way of life, and how do they think that we can solve them. So Jesse, we have about 3 or 4 of those persons out there. Can we get to them?
My name is Tangwa John. I've been a cook for Bishop Rogan at the stay for Tole. I want to talk the topic about people when are drunkies. When are people they smoking, they call and say banga with the drugs. I should say for be that type of person, that person you need to resemble something for inside society. Because when you see the way that people they call drunkies, they behave for society, you understand and say they know the resemble like a human being. And I've been very shameful for see that people the time where they pass, even as they see the family, they try for show from people they say they are picking. It worry me. And when you look deeply, you see and say most of them, they need to go to school safe. They need to do nothing. They need to work. And then when you see they can't talk to people there for quarter. Anytime when you see them, they need to be stable. You the fear. Now kind of people in society where any man feel the fear them. And then they be arrogant. The way it lives, when you see the way they do their things, you wonder whether they come out Christian family. Although someone they come out Christian family, they are pardon. And sometimes it reach like say all the family plus papa plus mommy they take to that thing. And the worst thing it be for inside, it be and I say we don't know whether we armed forces them whether they talk say they track all this kind of thing them. Because I quite remember say big time for Ajo, when they see person where they smoke this kind of thing, they take you for jail. And then they question you, but now when policemen see them along the road, they ask not only your money. You don't wonder whether we direct them not direct or how would they do.
Hi, happy Sunday. I'm Banta Canida from St. Jude Parish by 14. I'm talking about junkies. Hi, good afternoon. Happy Sunday. I'm Banta Canida, a student from the University of Boya, Faculty of Sciences. I'll be talking about junkies. Well, these persons, my own point of view, I think these persons are, for me, they are not mentally stable people, and this is due to one reason or the other. Some usually because maybe some family disturbances, some usually frustration. So these persons usually go into these things, most of them not willingly, maybe friends influence and all that. What I think can help them, I think they should be taken to a Bosta Institute. I think we have one in Boya. Taking it to a rehab center, it will help them to be better persons, or maybe not to. I think for our community, we should not abstain from these people. We should not stay away from them. We should not. Hello everyone, good morning. I'm Epole Gifty, a student in the University of Boya, Faculty of Health Sciences, and I'll talk about the possible interventions to the presence or the existence of the so-called junkies in our society and in our various communities. So in as much as it feels so difficult to help these individuals or to stop or crack down the act of consuming marijuana, there are some possible interventions which we can make in our community, either personalized or with the assistance of authorities in society. Firstly, in our environment, we don't have to consider them as outcasts. We don't have to think that they are not, they don't fit into the society. We need to interact with them. We need to show them that. We need to make them feel loved, bring them closer to ourselves, and tell them that there's always hope. Because most of them either got into it due to depression, due to peer influence, and due to the myth that it relieves stress and it takes you to a zone where you have nothing to worry about. So I think in our best capacity, we can interact with them, make them feel loved, treat them with love and concern as our own children at home, and we can also report to our local authorities that these people who are under this drug bondage, they can Yes, so they can identify these individuals in the community, sensitize them about the rehabilitation center in our community. That's the one in Boya, that's Bosta Institute. Yeah, so this kind of people can be managed there. They can help them to leave the job because some of them are addicted. They cannot do without it. So when they are present in that center, they will tell them how to manage their stress, other alternatives, not necessarily consuming this drug. So that's one way I think the authorities in the society can help us.
Yeah, thank you very much, JC, for that. We got those lead, the girls out there, their own experience about how they can go a long way to solve this problem with the junkies, maybe get them to rehabilitation centers and see how the authorities could help these persons, because some of them find themselves in that case, or like you said, drug bondage. It's really a drug bondage, you know, to come out of it at times is so difficult because of peer pressure, some other kind of maybe stress influences from some kind of stuff, and that's why they are there. And we could look at these also. So what are some of the biggest challenges in this rehabilitating rehabilitating drug addicts? What are some of those strong challenges these guys who have been in this whole thing? You may take them to the Bosta Institute and other places. How?
Yeah, like with every addiction, there is always need to create an alternative. You know, one of the measures, the psychological measures to tackling addiction is creating an alternative as strong as the thing the person is addicted to, drugs, for example. So in rehabilitation centers, they have those different things that they get. Some of them are chemicals, some of them are medicinal, some of them are just activities that they get themselves indulged in. So I think the most difficult thing is finding an alternative. And I think like one of the contributors on TV just said a while ago, it's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual battle too, because we cannot understand some of these happenings. How does one even ever get so addicted that they cannot get themselves out of it? So we need to include the spiritual aspect of it too in this battle. So I think it is a scheme of the devil to hold the present world hostage and in bondage. So the most difficult thing is usually finding something to replace that bad habit, that bad character, and if we can get that, it is good. That's why permit me, Father, with your permission, talk about the NGO that we are working on. It's called DREAM. DREAM is an acronym for Drug Ruins Everything, Achieve Music. Yeah. We are offering music as an alternative, because most times we realize that people hide under the canopy of music, yeah, to increase their drug consumption, and they are under the illusion that for you to perform on stage, for you to have inspiration, you must be high, but it's wrong. Yeah. We have seen things differently, and that's the different message that DREAM. Right now we are doing the paperwork, yeah, and we are hoping that before the end of this year, DREAM will go. DREAM is a whole system, that is a whole rehabilitation system that aims to go down, yeah, to theirs and find those drug addicts there and try to find a way to reinsert them into society and give them that value of life again. So it's an NGO we are working on, and a lot of very powerful minds are on it, and we are hoping that by 2050 we can curb drug addiction in the Anglophone regions by up to 80%. That's our dream.
So we creating maybe opportunity for DREAM maybe to come on board on Mountain Echoes, if that possible. So we put that on him. So we have the 2 C's and a way forward. The first is, Mr. Bo, could you just tell the viewers some of maybe about 4 of the causes why we find this number of guys increasing? They call themselves junkies, and we're looking at the consequences too, maybe briefly, and then a way forward. Who is expected to do what to curb these measures that we could put in place to see how we could curb this whole thing that has been destroying our society? It's a canker, and like I said at the beginning, it's more than COVID-19 and a time bomb if things are not handled properly.
Okay, the causes, just to name about a few, yeah. We have low self-esteem. Good number of people who have low self-esteem. They want to balance themselves with the others in this community, and the only way they can do is to make themselves high, so that they can live to that stage. We also have unemployment. Unemployment, they used to say in English, they say an idle man is the devil's workshop. So the high rate of unemployment in our community today is one of the strongest points which you need to underline that gives rise to crime and high rate of drug. So the next, again, we'll talk about peer pressure. Our peer group, tell me your friends or show me your friend and I'm going to show you who you are. There are some people, some individuals who are not really strong in their discipline, and so with the presence of the society and those around, they are easily dragged into it. The fourth, Father said four, let me limit there, is the media. We talk about globalization. The world is a global village. Most of what we see over the media, be it WhatsApp, Facebook, or television, Twitter, right?
Instagram, and the rest.
It influences the mind of the young persons that gives them, that lure them to take drugs.
Okay, maybe Gifts, you have maybe any of the causes, or we'll just go directly to the consequences, so that because
I think
he's done with that. Okay, so what are some of the consequences? Maybe we can list about 2 or 3, and then we way forward. What is the government expected to do? What is the church expected to do? Then parents and the society as a whole. Maybe we'll look at the consequences. To have any of them.
Okay, for the consequences, we talk of irresponsibility, and another one we have increase in sexual assaults and exploitation. We have increase in criminal rate, thefts and robbery and all the rest. I think those are the consequences resulting from this group of people.
Okay.
Yeah, and the ways for the government now to help us, we talk about increasing these rehabilitation centers. Because I think these centers are limited, and there is a lot of relapse when we talk of junkies, because these persons, some of them really want to stay away from that or to quit, but now they don't have these people, these therapists to assist them in this journey. Maybe you as a friend, you try to talk to this person, he sees a reason to quit, and in 2 to 3 days he faces those depression moments, anxiety moments, and he needs someone to talk to, and you are not there. Or he needs those things that distract him from going back to those drugs, and the things are not there. You see that the only option he will be having at that point is to go back to those drugs, because they believe that when they take it, it gets them high and they stay away from their responsibilities and their troubles. And also that is for the government, increasing the rehabilitation centers and enforcing the law on them, because junkies, if you carry out the snowball method of research, you easily get those people. Means if you have one person, you can have 100 of them in a day. They know themselves. Means you want know. If we if they force the law, they put up some laws that can be able to bring these people together and maybe discipline them in a way that will reduce them going back to it. I think it will help. And also down to our families, parents. For me, I have an experience. I've talked to 1 or 2 of people I know that consume this. They talk about responsibility. You hear them say, I beg, I distress, things are going wrong, let me just hide and sleep and stuff. But
the problem remains.
Yes, parents have abandoned their responsibilities to their sons. I will take sons, I don't know about the daughters. You see somebody is in the 2nd year in the university, and he is the one paying the younger ones their school fees, taking care of the mother and the father. You have 2 parents alive, and where do you expect that child to take money to take care of those younger ones? So when the pressure gets increased on them, they want to just take something that maybe they will stay away from that pressure for a moment, even though we know that no matter the alcohol you take, no matter the drugs you take, your problems still look at you. But they believe that when they take it, they stay away from it for that moment, have a cool head, rest, and then maybe face the problem after. So parents have to play a lot of role before even the government. No matter what the government do, if our parents or us, the family members, we are not there for these people, the government cannot do it by themselves, because they are closer to us than the government. So I think that those are the...
Yeah, Mike, maybe you could add one or two of the consequences that comes as a result of this junkies, time bomb in our society.
Yeah, apart from increase in crime rate, there is also a drop in economic strength. Yes, because money that should have been used to boost our economy is redirected into drug production and drug consumption, and there's equally a decrease in a mental capacity. There is very little that we can produce in our society, on top of the fact that we have a very faulty educational system. We have young people who are getting themselves more and more into drugs, so there's very little we can produce, there's very little the mind can work on, so there's drop in genius. We don't really have very good genius. There's an increase in unrealistic plans or realistic ambitions, because they are always, you see, like those who are into music, the field where we are again, those who are into music, they always think that with one song they are going to so make it that they are going to change their whole lives. They begin to dream about a very big car, and when they enter the studio and see the challenges in producing music, they immediately start thinking that no, I need to get out of this world to stay in that reality.
Okay, Mike, yeah, maybe before come to Mr. Bo, she talked about government, what is expected from the government. How do we curb this whole thing, which is a canker in our society today? How do we try to stop it?
Yeah, I think there is need to reinstate morals in our schools. Yeah. It's a dangerous thing that we live in a society where religious education is ignored in our school and just relegated to the back. There's need to reinstate morals in our schools, reinstate discipline. There's need for discipline even in the training of officials. I mean, I'm talking of those in uniform. There's need for discipline, that maybe an increase in rehabilitation center and a greater look on the need of those who are suffering from narcotic addiction and all of that. So there's equally need for somebody was talking a while ago of getting closer to the junkies. I would rather advise that for your own good, you show them love, but keep a distance.
Maybe converted.
Yes, because not just converted, but they are not very safe. They are not very safe people to stay around sincerely, because they can become brutal, and addiction can push you to a point where you think that you need to do anything to survive. An addict is someone who is very high, does not even recognize his mother in front of him. He could rape his mother, he could kill his mother, and all of that. So you show them love, but keep a reasonable distance. And well, there are a lot of things that has to be done, but there is need for improved rehabilitation. From in every dimension, there's need for improved rehabilitation. Sending them out of homes is a risk, because they might end up in the streets and make our streets even more dangerous and risky. So there is need for increased rehabilitation.
Yeah, Mr. Bo, how do we help these people? The church, the government, the landlords, of course, landladies, and the environment where they find themselves, the society.
Yeah, that's what we call medical detoxification. They can prescribe some drug like methadone, buprenorphine, to be able to handle that. Then again, getting back to our community, there is that counseling. The psychiatrists which are there, but sometimes back our landlords back there in our community, like the leopards in the New Testament, these people should not be ostracized and think that they are not part of the community. They can be able to do what? Do them some counseling. And I think that if the government on its own part try to open up aspect of employment, it is going to help them a lot, because when many people are employed, it will going to cut down that rate. Then when we talk also of drug abuse, we only think about those drugs taken. I think that taking of overdose is a means of drug abuse. Father, I have taken overdose on 3 occasions, and it was very disastrous. I took ciprofloxacin, 500 milligrams, 2 tablets in the morning, 2 afternoon, 2 evening. The following day I continued. When I went to the hospital, the doctor was doubted if I was still alive. That is, I took 3,000 milligrams a day. That is 2. Yes, 3,000 milligrams a day, which is supposed to be taken for 3 days.
Oops.
On my body, you could boil beans. Yes, within a few seconds. So we try to sensitize the community about even these tablet prescribed drugs that are taken, that if we take underdose, it has an effect. And if we take overdose, it is very catastrophic. It damages the lungs and all that. So that counseling, not only on those we call junkies and the rest, there are some low keys junkies back in our own quartiers who are very normal human beings who face that. But we can look at them as distant people. Some of us, like me, I could say that in that stage, ignorantly, I was trying to balance off for the number of days that I jumped taking my drugs, get to take that, which was very disastrous. You have to sensitize the community that it is very necessary for us to take the prescribed drugs as prescribed by medical practitioner. You know, the church again has always been playing good roles. The same like what is happening in Divine Mercy, to be able to advise that constant counseling in our community, it helps, and we should try to integrate them and love them as Christ he tried to indicate. You know, the lepers who were sent away, Christ brought them close to him and then tell them to go and present them to the high priest, those who were cured. Present yourself to the high priest. We should integrate them in the community and try to welcome them, share with them, and maybe we can lead them out from their difficulty.
Yeah, Mr. Bono, to cut you, just to also call on the government officials to support initiatives that are planned that look forward to rehabilitating these people. Initiatives like Dream that they talked about a while ago. There are many others out there, but they should also find a way to bring their support to such initiatives.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Bo, for joining us today. Thank you very much, Ms. Gift, for being with us this 9 p.m. Thank you very much, Mr. Mike. We equally say happy feast to all the our Muslim brothers and sisters. Remember Imam Abubakar. He has been coming time and again on Mountain Echoes and some other occasions to our TV. We want to say congratulations, and may Allah continue to bless you for the good work you've been doing, and continue to pray for peace in our country, especially in the northwest and southwest region. We say thank you to Jesse. We say thank you to Brother Ambus, all those working with DMRE TV. We say thank you to the director of the communication, Father Solomon Lyongai Kundi, and we say thank you, Madam Joyce Mbong, manager of DMRE TV, and the number one supporter of our television, Bishop Michael Bibi. May God continue to bless you as we move along. Thank you. See you tomorrow, and good night.